Let's talk Brexit, shall we? I know everyone is sick of politics these days. I mean, for heaven's sake. Reality TV star in America, Margaret Thatcher's good twin in Germany? You thought I was going to say the UK there for a moment, didn't you? No. In the UK, we're being run by the woman who is marginally less offensive than the man who fucked a pig. Sorry, a dead pig. In the UK, we are currently being run by one Theresa May. He sounds very much like a drag queen name. I wouldn't, but Theresa May. It was Oedipus's joke. Not mine. I have thought a similar thing, but I didn't manage to put it into words quite as quickly as he did. He's a man of many talents, most of them beard-related. But Theresa May is a very interesting sort of person. She's hitched herself to this idea that Brexit has to happen, and that it should happen, and that it will happen, and that it's going to happen. She was not really actually elected in any way. You could argue that no Prime Minister of Britain is ever really elected, because we don't elect the Prime Minister, we elect the party, and the party decides on their leader. I think that's a very clever way of making sure that we're always ruled by some Oxbridge twat in a suit who has never seen the inside of a bus before, let alone minimum wage. Theresa May was not elected leader of the Conservative Party. She stood up to lead the Conservative Party. 4 other people also stood up to lead. And then one by one, those 4 people somehow very suddenly decided they didn't want to lead the Conservative Party. And Theresa May was just sort of left there. So no one has ever actually voted for this woman, and she is determined to get Britain out of the EU. But I'm sure she's a very capable sort. You see, the thing is if you're not aware of Britain's relationship with the EU, imagine you're in a neighbourhood committee. Your parents, specifically, are in a neighbourhood committee and they have worked long and hard to make sure that they are part of the neighbourhood committee. But every time the neighbourhood committee passes a rule, they say, I don't want to do that. And for some reason, their neighbourhood committee lets them not do it. And being raised while we were in the neighbourhood committee, the younger members of the household, you, your siblings, your children perhaps, have been raised with these rules and don't consider it strange at all to want every house to look neat and tidy, or for the front gardens to only have a certain amount of things in them. You know, arbitrary rules like that, but things that don't necessarily impede one's life, and in some cases actually make it quite a bit better. No one is questioning that, apart from your parents, who wanted very much to be part of this neighbourhood committee, but don't want to do anything that they have to do or anything that everyone else has to do. And then they demand special treatment, and they demand that their house not only be exempt from many of the rules that apply to other people's houses, having picked and chosen which rules actually apply to them in the first place, but they then decide that they also want their house to be the recipient of far more special circumstances. So the neighbourhood committee says, no, we can't do that because that's incredibly unfair to everyone else. So then your parents say, fine, we're leaving. And there's a big vote about it, and everyone in your household votes, except not everyone in your household votes. No, you see, there are 5 people in your household, and your 2 parents vote to leave, and you and your sibling vote to stay, but your 3rd sibling, who's away at uni, doesn't vote because he's away at uni. So, despite the fact that there probably would have been a majority if your 3rd sibling decided to vote, it comes down to a 49-51% split, which is not enough, by the way, for a party to take control of the House of Commons. No, if there was a 49-51 split in a national election, then we would have a coalition government again, and we all remember how well that turned out last time. But apparently that's enough to decide whether or not we want to leave the European Union. So putting that aside, you decide to leave the neighbourhood committee. Now what? And that's rather where any analogy you could come up with for it falls apart, because if you were to leave a neighbourhood committee, there would be no negative consequences whatsoever, other than that your resale value might be ever so slightly lower, but house prices are still astronomically high, so it won't make that much difference. And they're only going to get higher because we left the EU! Here's the thing. I've been holding on to this tea to spill it for quite a while, and the longer you hold on to your tea, the more bitter it becomes, so perhaps I'm getting a tad emotional about it. But here's the thing. The thing that irritates me is that the reason the EU never worked for us as a country is because the majority of the people who are in the now 40 to 60 age bracket were the ones blocking everything when we tried to join the EU, saying, no, we don't want that rule. No, we won't do that. No, we can't do that. No, we're not doing that. Metric measurements? No, we're going to stick with imperial for some goddamn reason. So then we end up with this half-baked, half-planned collection of rules that we've decided to follow that aren't all of the EU rules at all. And everyone goes, oh, look, these don't work, these don't work. Well, yes, that's because you tried to build an IKEA table using half of the kit and throwing the other half away. Of course it doesn't stand upright, you've only got 2 legs. I think the thing that bothers me most is that there have been censuses done, there have been questionnaires filled out, and the majority of the people who voted to leave the EU either didn't know exactly what that meant, or believed information that has since been proved false. How, as a country, can we judge a union that we've never really properly been a part of? I mean, this is kind of like asking for a divorce from your, year 3 girlfriend who you married on the playground, with one of the older kids being the priest because you wanted to do a marriage. It's not real. We weren't really a part of it. So why do we need to leave? Everything was fine. Now everything is unknown. Unknown is scary. Unknown is terrifying. And somehow you thought that was a better option than just, sending someone over to Belgium every now and then to say, yes, we're still doing what we're supposed to be doing. Yes, we haven't filled our sausages with bread so that we can cheap people out of another 35 pence. I don't understand why so many people felt it was so unnecessary that we have rules about how we're going to treat people or things, or even things like the naming conventions. I mean, so much of Britain relies on being able to say, this is cheddar that was made in Cheddar. This is Somerset Brie that was made in Somerset. It is very important for us that we keep things to our locations. And leaving the EU means we can't do that anymore. Now anything can call itself a Cornish pasty because it's no longer a protected food by the EU. Cornish pasties, champagne, parmesan, these were things that you could only call that if they came from the place that they were made. Now anything can call itself a Cornish pasty. Well done. Maybe this is all a conspiracy by Greggs. The thing is, I've been complaining about Brexit since the vote passed. And we all know at this point that we can't do anything about it. We can't stop it. We can't go back on it. We can't rejoin the EU or ask for independent citizenship. We can't. Nothing has been put in place to allow that. It would take years for something to be put in place to allow that. So we just have to put up with it, We do. We have to just learn to live with it and hope that the people in charge will, for once in their lives, make a decision that benefits someone other than themselves. I always got through that with a straight face. Can you imagine? Yeah, we're fucked.